all I'm going to do in a sec is pause and then ask you the question, and then we just go for it. Okay. We just chat. There's no limit. You just say whatever you want. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Soph, what does level up mean to you?
That is a tricky question because it means so much to me that it's kind of hard to put into words, but I guess it means community, it means friendship, it means looking after yourself, it just kind of means everything, really.
So let's tell everyone a bit about you.
Yeah.
Let's rewind. So you've been on Level Up since December 2023.
Yes.
So we're at the 17 month mark now, give or take. It's a long time. We've obviously known each other before that, haven't we?
Yes, yeah. So I got married in September 2022, and before I got married I did the typical thing of like, I need to fit into a wedding dress that's 3 sizes smaller than I actually am. So I went on like a massive like personal training, dieting, and I was at your boxer size class, which I loved, by the way. I absolutely, it was my highlight of my week, your boxer size classes. So that's when I first met you, and I remember saying to you, I was like, oh, do you do personal training? And you're like, no, I'm an online coach. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that.
You literally turned your nose up by that as well.
I did, I remember. I think I've kind of always had like an on-off relationship with exercise and dieting, and I've always kind of gone through phases where I'm like on it and I'm like training for an event or whatever, but I've always done PTing. For some reason in my brain, like whenever I was training for these events, I needed like that person there to hold me accountable, you know, and that's what I thought. So when you were like, oh, I'm an online coach, I was like, absolutely not. But now I wouldn't have it any other way, and I wouldn't go back to a PT ever.
Good answer. So where were you? Describe that situation then before you joined Level Up. So December 2023, what did life look like?
Am I allowed to swear?
You can say whatever you want.
It was shit. Like, it was, as I said a minute ago, I've kind of always had like an on-off relationship with myself, really, and like health and fitness and whatever. And I'm either on it, or well, I was either on it or nothing at all. And after the wedding, went on honeymoon, and then it was just kind of like a slow decline of like, that event's happened now, I don't need to train for anything. Had got myself into bad habits before the wedding anyway, and it kind of all just came crashing back, and I ended up putting on all the weight I lost the wedding and more. I was at the heaviest I'd ever been. I was in and it doesn't, clothes size doesn't matter, but for me I was in like 4 size clothes bigger than I normally would be, and I was lost. I didn't know who I was, I didn't know what was going on, and I had a lot going on in my personal life as well, and I just felt a bit all over the place.
So why did you join? What made you join?
I'm going to be honest and talk personal, if that's okay. But a couple of reasons I joined. One, I needed to change because I wasn't healthy, and I was just self-sabotaging constantly. You know, it's like, oh, woe me, like nothing's going to change, I can't do this, it's too hard. And I was like, suck it up, Soph, come on, something needs to change. And me and my husband actually had gone through IVF, and our first round of IVF failed. And I was like, I need to sort myself out, and I need to lose some weight, because within IVF they talk about BMI. Like, I personally don't believe in BMI, I don't really think it's a thing, but they talk about that. And one thing my consultant said, which I find insane, was you could do losing a couple of like 10 kilograms or something. And I found it insane, like, you know, that a healthcare professional can, but anyway. So after the first round failed, I was like, okay, I'm going to do something about this, and I'm going to change. And I had been stalking you for a while, and I just, I bit the bullet, and I was like, and I needed to try something different, because nothing I had done in the past had stuck. and nothing I'd done in the past had actually changed me as a person. It got me to an end goal, but it didn't, last.
We obviously had a few conversations, didn't we, about you joining, like, and we're talking, as you said before, the wedding, like, for a couple of years, give or take. Why then? Like, I know you touched on those things there, but they were relevant in your life throughout, weren't they, that period? So what was, like, the tipping point?
It was, to be honest with you, it was being so fed up of not, like, liking myself and not making a change. I was just I was like, why am I not changing? Why am I not putting this into my own hands? And I made myself a promise. So I said that if IVF doesn't work, I am changing for good. And I made myself a promise and I stuck to it. And I think I messaged you the week after we found out, and I was like, right, let's go. I'm ready. Let's do this. I made a promise to myself to actually change and to do something for me. Yeah. So that was the tipping point, really.
So what is that change? What have you achieved?
Wow, I've achieved quite a lot.
Thank you for saying that. I was wondering if you were going to go, not much.
No, I am very proud of my journey, both physically and mentally. So on the physical side of things, I've lost, 30 something pounds?
36 pounds?
36 pounds, something like that.
Glad you know.
So I've lost a fair bit of weight, but it's kind of not just the weight, you know, my body composition has completely changed. Like, my shoulders, pretty proud of them, I'm not going to lie. And I've definitely, you know, changed how I feel about myself as well. So I ran a 10k, and I was always like, I can't be a runner, like, absolutely not. And I ran a 10k and I did pretty well at it. I got really into running.
Can we just add that I did pretty well at it? Are you joking me?
Yeah. Okay.
Did you have an injury the week of the 10k
yeah.
and still smash it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I did my blimmin' hamstring in. I don't know what happened. And then I did the 10k and I never run. I did it in 53 minutes, which
Not
bad.
I
was quite average. So I was quite stoked with that. So I've managed to do like loads of things physically, which has been absolutely brilliant. And you know, obviously that was my original goal. Like I was uncomfortable in who I was, how I looked in clothes. I was always hiding under baggy things, and like summer would come, and I actually went through my wardrobe recently, and I was like, right, I need to just get rid of stuff. And the things I bought, like before Level Up, it was like these really big, baggy, like dungaree type things and baggy t-shirts. And I was like, I literally covered my body. And I just, you know, so I've physically been able to change that. But mentally, and I've spoken to you about this before, it's just like showing up for myself and just realising that actually you're so much stronger than you think you are. And it's like, I definitely always used to be the person that was like, oh, woe me, or like I would go into victim mentality and be like, well, life sucks, like this is really hard, why would I do that? Like, I've had a really shit day, I'm gonna have a glass of wine, a bottle of wine, you know, that type of thing. And I would always fall into that cycle of like, everything sucks, everything's really hard, nothing's going to change. But I realised actually I need to change for it to change. And that's been a massive change, just my mindset. And pretty proud of how far I've come.
Going back to what you said about the clothes.
Yeah.
And like the dungarees and the baggy t-shirts.
Right.
How did that make you feel going through your wardrobe the other day?
It was really like bittersweet. It was kind of like, I'm so sad for that Sophie. Like, I don't want to get emotional, but it was like, God, so sad for that person that I felt like I had to cover up. Because the thing is, it's like, everybody is beautiful, and I was so sad that I couldn't see that Sophie as beautiful and worthy of showing off, you know, that. And I was like, oh, that's really sad. But at the same time, I was like, wow, I've come, like, I'm really proud of myself for making the change that I wanted to change. And it's not, for me, it's like, yes, it's great that I look different physically. But for me, I'm like, okay, well, actually, I've become the person I wanted to be. Like, I've got the confidence what I've always wanted. So yeah, it was really bittersweet moment. Yeah.
Because the reason I ask that is, like, there will be people listening that are teetering on the edge.
Yeah.
But they can't see that vision right now. And
Yeah.
you probably couldn't see that vision.
Absolutely not.
Back then.
No.
When you joined, what was, like, the thought in your head about what you could see and what you would achieve?
I've never really had faith in myself, so I didn't think I was going to achieve much, to be honest with you. I was like, I'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. But what I found joining Level Up, which I've not had anywhere else, was the community instantly gives you a boost. So it's not, and I mentioned earlier I did PTing because I wanted accountability. Like, the accountability you get in Level Up is like 100 times what you do in PTing, you know? And that just instantly changed me. I was like, oh, I'll see what I can achieve, you know, I might be able to shift whatever. But as soon as I became part of the community and obviously had you as a coach, it was like, okay, I can actually achieve a lot here. And it was insane because I've never had that faith in myself. But by having your faith and the community's faith in me, it's like, hell yeah, I'm going to smash this. And I did. I went head first, I got into it, I worked bloody hard. I showed up for myself every single day. And yeah, and then I think it's quite disheartening, isn't it, when you're at the beginning of the journey, because you think it's going to be a month.
Yeah.
And you're like a brand new person. But I think it was probably, like 3 months in. It was March when we did the first photo shoot. And I took some progress photos, like, oh, okay, this is working. So I did a photo shoot with a week's notice, which was a bit crazy.
But think about Sophie at that photo shoot compared to Sophie at the September photo shoot. So to set the scene, you literally a week's notice, we had someone drop out and I said to you, Sophie, do you want to come do the photo shoot on next Saturday? You were like, sure, I'll go do it. You were so nervous, you didn't know anyone. Like, no one really knew each other either, did they? And then you signed yourself up, didn't you, for the next one in September, and it was like a totally different person. I said to everyone at the start, right, who's going first? You were like, me. I was like, alright, calm down, we'll get a go, it's alright. Well, talk me through that journey, because something big happened in that period of time for you to change.
Yeah, I think so. The first photo shoot, it was hilarious. I remember like, why am I doing this? And I went and got my makeup professionally done. I had a spray tan, which I did for the second as well, but I had my makeup professionally done. I did my hair, I had like fake eyelashes on, and I was like, right. Went into the photo shoot and I was so nervous. I hardly spoke to anyone. I don't know how I've made incredible friends from that day, because I was like, hi, I'm Sophie. Like, really ridiculous. So nervous, like shaking when I was talking. I'm very socially awkward. But yeah, it was really, really scary. And I remember just doing it and just being like, I wasn't that happy with the photos, but I remember having a conversation with you and being like, no, we're celebrating a point in your journey. And I think actually I was really happy with my progress, but when I saw the photos, I was like, okay, I'm still not where I want to be. And it just gave me a bit of like, even more of a push, being like, look how far I've come, but I know I can get even further. And then September photo shoot, I don't know what happened, just constantly showing up for myself every single day. And I think people underestimate this, that by showing up for myself every single day and doing the do and just like looking after myself, it didn't even become about how many pounds I can lose or inches I can lose. It's like, I'm fueling myself so I have more energy. Like, I want to see people because I'm not sat on my sofa drinking a bottle of wine. Like, just everything changes when you look after yourself. It's not just about kind of like losing weight to feel a certain type of way. And by showing up for myself every day, I grew in confidence because it proved to myself I can do things. Like, oh, okay, if I can like do my steps every day, if I can fuel my body, if I can drink my water, I actually can look after myself. And it just slowly built up to the point where I just felt physically and mentally strong. And I was at my leanest point then because I was running crazy hard. And I just went into photo shoot. And do you know what? It was actually something that you said that made me volunteer to go first. So after the first photo shoot, and we're all talking about it afterwards, and it was like, yeah, everyone was really great, wasn't really nervous. And the girl that went first set the scene for the day and was really confident, and you were like, that sets the scene for the day. You know, when the first person goes and they're really excited and happy and confident, that's going to make the other girls feel at ease, and that's why you all felt more at ease. And that stuck with me, and I was like, I want to be that person. Because having the first person at my first photo shoot setting that tone and being like, this is going to be so much fun, guys, was really, really helpful. So yeah, that's why I wanted to go first.
I didn't know that. Well, you did a bloody good job
Thanks.
of it. It was a great day. Wow.
Yeah,
how nice.
A bit of information there.
Oh, that's so nice. And do you know what? I thought then when you were talking about confidence and how your confidence has grown, and confidence being proving to yourself that you can do the difficult things over and over when you don't want to do them. The other thing that you didn't do for the second photo shoot.
Oh, I didn't wear makeup. Well, not much makeup. Like, yeah, it's crazy. So this is me. Yeah, and I still don't wear huge amounts of makeup. But I didn't feel like I needed it. I was like, yeah, this is me.
And that's because you got to this point where you feel great in yourself, right?
Yeah.
And it's not saying makeup's bad. Like,
no.
We all wear makeup from time to time, but it was what that makeup was, you thought that makeup was going to do for you on the first photo shoot, compared to not needing it in the second photo shoot because you'd done what you needed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't need to, and like I said, makeup's not bad, but I didn't feel like I needed the mask. I didn't feel like I needed that extra confidence. I didn't feel like I needed, you know, my face or my hair to look a certain type of way, because I was like, I'm coming to prove to myself and to document how well I've done, and I didn't need that to hide behind.
So what's next for Soph? What stage are we at right now?
Where are we? We're in maintenance, which is fun.
We had a good chat about this yesterday.
Yes, we did, and you know, I'm not gonna lie, maintenance isn't easy. It's because I've never been here before, and you know, I said at the beginning, all I've ever done is this, and I've never been in a place where I've kept my physique and my weight and stuff. So it's a learning curve, but that's what life is. You learn every day, you know. So what is next is just to be honest with you, it's figuring out like who I am, because although I've gained like loads and loads and loads and loads of confidence over the last year and stuff, obviously I mentioned that I've had stuff that's been going on in my life, and that's always kind of been a focus, and then it's been like, well, I want to look a certain way, so that's been a focus, and now I'm like, okay, but who am I? Like, without these things, like, I don't want to have to think about X, Y, and Z anymore, and so yeah, just finding that kind of like me and how I can maintain and keep what I'm doing without it being at an extreme, you know?
Yeah, I think that's so important, and like you said, it is hard, right? Because whenever anyone first thinks of a health and fitness journey, it's like lose weight, gain weight, do a half marathon, do a photo shoot, whatever the specific goal is. But what they forget about is what happens when that's done.
Yeah, I know. Because
we put all our happiness and focus on this destination, and then it's like, we're at the destination, where do we go now?
Yeah.
What do we do?
That's the thing. And it's like, you don't have to constantly push for goals, and like you said the other day, like, you do have goals, but it's just completely different now, you know? It's like working out what makes you happy, like who you are and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be, I want to run this, I want to lose this amount of weight, and yeah, I'm really glad that I'm at a point where exercise and being mindful about food is a natural part of my life, but I definitely want to get to a point where it's even more balanced. Yeah.
And in the grand scheme of things, it's only been 17 months, right?
I know. But you get complacent.
Yeah.
Like, and complacency's not good at all, but you get complacent, and you just need to remember that you constantly have to learn. You constantly have to grow and adapt. But yeah, it's so easy just to be like, look at me, I've done really well in 17 months. I can finish now.
Yeah. But it's true, right? Because like, again, there'll be people listening to this that are either at the start of their journey, or they're thinking about it, and they'll be in their head going, well, if I do this for 3 months, I'm going to be fine. And it's like, do what? Take care of yourself for 3 months? What are you going to do after that?
But that was me. Like, and that's what I did. And but you don't understand, like, and I know this will put people off, but it's bloody hard work. It's not a 3 month, 6 month, year fix. Like, this is forever. We want to live a long, healthy life. Like, we want to be able to be like, our bodies are in great shape. You know, I don't want a heart attack early. I don't want any of these things. And it took me a while, but it's accepting that actually this is for life and it's not a quick fix, and it's bloody hard in the beginning, but it is so worth it. So,
yeah, it's true what you say though. Like, you literally only get one place to live your whole life. Like, you have to take care of it. For someone that is literally on the edge right now of joining, but they're back and forth, what would you say to them?
I actually spoke in one of our coaching calls recently, and you asked me similar kind of what the advice for the girls in our coaching group would be, and my advice would be the same for people that are kind of thinking about it, is do it, and do it for yourself. Like, don't do it for anybody else, don't do it for silly reasons, just do it, because you're going to completely change your life. You will not only be able to change physically but mentally, and you'll be able to get through life so much easier. I found I have been able to anyway. And also, like, I'm quite a socially awkward person, and I have never ever been in a group of such an amazing bunch of women, and that alone is enough of a reason to just jump in, because you'll make friends for life and you'll just be given the support, and you'll have like hundreds of hype women. Like, who doesn't want hundreds of hype women going, yeah? So yeah, do it, basically. I just wish I did it sooner.
I guess for some people, and like I totally get this, from the outside you see a group of women that know each other, that get on, that are all doing all these things together, and it can be quite intimidating, I guess.
For sure.
Did you feel like that before you joined?
Oh my goodness me, I have like the worst social anxiety in the world. Like, I remember when I first joined, I would reread every message I was going to send to the group about 5 times in case it sounded wrong, in case like it got misinterpreted. Like, genuinely, that is the kind of person I am. And now I'm like, there is like zero judgment. There's only love and support, and it's honestly, it blows my mind, because people are like, oh, whatever happened. No, like, yeah, I was petrified at the beginning, like I said, at the photo shoot, but yeah, everyone is just incredible.
And it's these things you don't know until you try.
Yeah.
You literally don't know.
No. And yeah, I've made some incredible friends. So yeah, it's been pretty awesome.
Thank you so much for this.
That's okay, thank you.
Really good.